Well, greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and I wanted to go back here in the last of what we're doing with the videos here now and correct some thoughts that people had years ago. They thought you could not expand the lower cuspids and get them to stay that way. I heard the speaker in that. He was a very fine gentleman, and he really believed that was the way they were. I hated to go against this gentleman. He was head of the department up in, I think, Washington, and he said, you know, if you expand the cuspids, they're going to go back where they were. In 10 years, they'll be back where they are. I just could not understand how that could be. Now, what he actually would tell his class, say, you have to expand these. Now, students only had a short time to be there, so the quickest thing they did was just expand the cuspids like this. And if you expand the cuspid and just push them apart, the root actually goes back in the other direction. And now you leave it alone over a period of years, and the tooth will come back over its roots like that. Well, that was the only thing I could figure out that caused the teeth to go that way. So I had a case here that was extremely crowded. It was the worst crowding that I've ever had in anybody else. And this young lady right here in 1973 had the crowdedest cuspid I have ever seen. And all the time I practiced with people. And here are her cuspid teeth. Here is a cuspid right here, and this is one over here. And the distance from the top of over to here is so small. And this is the lateral, the central, lateral and central, the centrals, and this is the laterals right here. And you put those teeth in there. He said it didn't matter whether you extracted teeth or not, they still would go back. Now this was so crowded on this young lady till we did take these teeth out right here, and we expanded that. And those teeth, I watched this lady for 10 years. And let's go back, I want to erase that. And here it is. And then after 10 years, they were still there. And I watched it another 10 years. And this was 10 of 73. And here's January of 93. And here's the lady's teeth are lined up like that. And I will almost guarantee you that if we could find this lady today, these teeth would still be there. In other words, if you expand cuspids, you've got to bring the root back distal to the crown, and there's no sacred thing, position of that cuspid. It's not going to move back over there, so it'll stay there in that position. If you keep the root, in other words, move the crown back, but have the root just slightly distal to the crown, and the teeth will stay there. And that's something, I don't care about these 5Gs and everything else. That's going to be that same way, whether you're using 5 or 6 or 8 or 10G. It'll still be that way as long as human beings are like they are right here. So I'm going to go ahead and let me see, we'll go. This is the lady in 93. She grew up, and that's 20, well, that's 85, but 20 years after she finished this, her teeth were still there, and if we could get a hold of her today, they would be there still. So I'm going to finish here, and I'm going to stand behind this, that you can expand lower cuspids. Just make sure that the root is slightly distal to the crown, and it takes longer to get the tooth back like that than it does just to expand it and let the root alone. It moves closer together the other way. So I'm going to close out and thank you for watching. And I'm going to stand on the fact that you can expand lower cuspids and expect them to stay in that position. And there is things that could crowd them back up if the bite deepens or things like that, but that's not what they were talking about. So I'm going to close out here and thank you for watching. I hope you will join our group and subscribe to it. And so we'll see you next time. Thank you now.